Hi everyone, my name is Chloe Mastagi, and today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about hacker rights. But before I do, I just want to say a big thank you for Plano Tech for having me, and I hope you enjoy. I'm going to turn off my camera so I can focus on my slides, but I promise I'll turn it back on afterwards. So here we go. All right, let's begin. So we're going to talk about hacker rights. I'm going to give you, it's probably going to be about 10-15 minutes long, and I hope you enjoy it. My name, once again, is Chloe Mastagi. I'm the VP of Strategy over at Point 3 Security. And when I'm not doing that, I'm an ethical hacker advocate. What does that mean? That means I believe in rights for ethical hackers, and I'll do whatever it takes to make sure that they get their rights. But I also, it's always asking the question, how can I make this better? And that means in particular the community of the hackers. When I'm not doing that, I'm also the president and co-founder of WOSEC, which is known as Women of Security. I'm also the founder of Women Hackers, which is basically a virtual place where non-binary women hackers that hack at all levels get to meet up, and we get to do some fun workshops and connect with one another. I'm also a podcaster for ITSP Magazine's The Uncommon Journey with Phil Wiley and Alyssa Miller. And lastly, I'm also the organizer for the Hacker Book Club, which meets every Tuesday at 5 p.m. Pacific time, where we basically read books written by hackers, and then we review it all together in the community. All right, let's keep going, shall we? So what we're going to cover today in the main agenda is the background. What is the situation right now? Then we're going to dive a little bit about how can we influence the public. That means not too many public are aware of basically hackers, and we want to change that perception because it's definitely impacting getting rights for hackers. So we're going to also have to talk about the role that the media plays, which means, press and marketing. Also the role that organizations play, legislation, and then lastly, what are some next steps that we can do? So when you see a hacker, when you think of a hacker, you usually see this hooded figure like this. And then sometimes we'll get the image of this guy who has a ski mask on, and which is always very interesting to see because now these days we totally cover our camera, but also just think of you're trying to focus really, really hard and you want to get something done and you're wearing something over your face. Can you imagine how itchy that would be? Like, that's not going to help your concentration. Anyway, but overall general, I like to showcase that hackers come in all shapes and sizes. And overall, hackers wear 3 main hats. But when I say hacker, I'm referring to white hats, the ethical hackers. In general, black hats commit malicious acts and are considered criminals, and we should probably start calling them cyber criminals and not hackers. Gray hats, well, there's too many shades to cover, but in general, there are people who are passionate about technology, finding vulns. As such, it is what made them into a hacker. Some of them didn't even know ethical hacking existed, but once discovered, their hat switched changed to a gray to a white shade. But what exactly makes an ethical hacker? Ethical hackers, once again, white hats, are hackers who work to keep data safe from attackers by finding system vulnerabilities that can be mitigated. And also, they're usually employed by a target system's owner and are typically paid, sometimes quite well, for their work. And then there's times where they just say, thank you. The work is not considered illegal because it's done with the system owner's consent. But even though ethical hackers are not malicious actors, they're still being seen and treated as such. And because of this, it reduces the chances of reporting a vulnerability and can cause hackers to go to the dark side because they're seen as the same. So to the left is what we see when we type in criminal hackers, and to the right is ethical hackers. Once again, hoodie and darkness, not too much of the differences. And it's not just the imagery, it's also the language used in the media, such as seen in marketing and press. Let's just say media. So how does this imagery impact us? And by us, I mean the hacker community. Well, it's the mindset set by society, by people and the media that keep us unsafe and prevent hackers do what they do well in. Companies are afraid of hackers and don't want to create vulnerability disclosure policies because of the lack of a bilateral trust amongst hackers and organizations and government. It is one of the reasons why 60% do not report vulnerabilities, and hackers are scared of the outdated laws such as CFA and DMCA. Also, from interviewing black hat hackers, or what we call malicious actors, or cyber criminals, one of the reasons they decided to move away from ethical hacking is the pay and the constant worry of being prosecuted regardless if they did something legal. This is also said similarly by those who switched from being a black hat hacker to an ethical hacker. The reason they switched was the insomnia of being arrested, because there are cases when organizations prosecute ethical hackers regardless if they were within scope. And this is why we need to focus on this. So all around the world, all the current legislation can be found in most countries towards hackers. You will have an anti-hacking law, you will have anti-circumvention law, and you will have acceptable use policy law. Now, I'm going to talk from the US perspective a little bit here, but overall anti-hacking law in the US, we call it CFA, is basically the law that prohibits accessing a computer without authorization or in excess of authorization. Also to be used when a researcher goes out of scope, and this is the act usually used to prosecute hacking. Believe it or not, the CFA, the reason why that was formed in the US is because Ronald Reagan watched a movie called War Games, and he freaked out and panicked and decided to push for CFA to happen. Now, the anti-circumvention laws, also known as copyright laws, is basically the right to repair. Reverse engineering is seen as a breach of property to some companies. Now, how many of you guys have ever read your terms and conditions for, say, an Apple product? Well, I tried, I got really bored, and I decided to watch a movie instead. But in general, they can be very long, too much verbiage, and it can confuse anyone, especially if English is not their first language. And this can lead to some serious miscommunication issues for ethical hackers that don't really speak English when reporting vulnerabilities. And clearly, if you see here, look at the dates. It's very clear that they're very old and out of date. And honestly, they were all created out of fear, not empathy, by taking the time to understand what is needed and why law should only prosecute malicious actors, aka criminals, and not good hackers. With improvements to legislation, we can change the previous slide, but in order to do that, we must dive into 3 categories in which we have touched on because they work together to bring about a public change, and that includes yourself. So we need to influence the public. So in order to have rights for hackers, we need to get the public on board. In order to do so, we need to dive into these 3 categories. The press, to push for public to become aware. In other words, we need to change the language and imagery of a hacker and start using cyber criminals for those who commit unethical hacking. Overall, just really separate the 2. In order to help the press, organizations need to be on board with bilateral trust, with having vulnerability disclosure programs by showing they support hackers, the public changes their view in general. And lastly, to have organizations and public opinion to then push and motivate politicians to get on board and update the current legislation that will protect ethical hackers. But overall, we will need all 3 to be supporting hacker rights for it to become a reality. So these are the 5 needs, and overall, we need to push for awareness of ethical hackers. And in order to get there, I'm going to need your help. The first step is this. This is a petition for anyone out there that supports ethical hackers and want to bring about a change. It's the first step that I'm working on to bring attention to this matter. It's broken down by organizations, legislators, the media, and the hacker community. And anyone can sign this who agrees with it. But it does state on here that if you're an organization, you must implement policies that clearly define what is in scope and what kind, if any, rewards, contact information. Because sometimes if we find a vulnerability, it'll take hours, sometimes days and weeks to find someone, to communicate with someone. And then at that point, we give up because it's already risky as it is. Also, communicate updates on the submission. We want to know, has it been fixed? What are the issues? If I submit you a vulnerability, I want to know what's going on. So keeping up and date is going to be very important. And the extension of a bilateral trust to include non-retribution, which is super important right now. Of course, politicians have to be on here because we need them to understand that ethical hackers are not cyber criminals. They are the everyday heroes that are protecting you from breaches. They're the ones that are on the front lines to make sure that your loved ones and yourself are protected online. So we need to support by pushing for new legislation and protective additions to current legislations that won't penalize. The media also needs to help us by portraying ethical hackers not as malicious actors, but show us who we really are. And if they are going to talk about malicious acting of hack, just to make sure that they are showing them as cyber criminals and not hackers. And of course, I threw something in there about the hacker community. I always tell them, if you find a vulnerability, try to stay within scope and do not ever exploit, because when that happens, then the trust is broken for the entire community. So this is a petition that we can all sign. No matter who you are, your background, you can sign this and share it with your friends and family and your colleagues. Overall, the main takeaways is we need to push for awareness, and that's pretty much it. But overall, ethical hackers deserve protection and rights because they are protecting us, and they're getting hurt because we're not doing enough to protect them and to do whatever we can to protect them. And we need to stand up. We need to state that the current imagery and language is misleading the public and it's hurting people and their lives. And we need to work together to change the public perception by updating legislation, media, and organizations. And really the first step of going forward with this is signing and sharing this petition, and of course, also sharing this talk. But I just want to remind you that the most important thing is that change starts with you and me. So I just want to say thank you for existing. I know that at this time, it's a really hard time with COVID-19 and an economic situation. But please note that no matter where you are, where you're located, I'm thankful that you exist, because we need everyone here to do something to make this place a better place for future generations and current generations. So once again, thank you for watching this talk. And if you have any questions at all, feel free to reach out to me on Twitter. It's at Chloe Mustagi. Until then, please stay safe and do take care.
So, welcome everyone and thank you for joining. This is Anshuman, and today I will be covering the topic ethical hacking and AI. I'm quite sure I'm quite sure that everyone here is familiar with the two terms, what is an ethical hacking and what is an AI. So what I will do today, rather than explaining verbally, I will explain it to by practically, showing you some demonstration where you can relate how ethical AI is being used in ethical hacking as well as normal hacking by attackers as well as the cybersecurity experts. So before start with the topic, let me introduce myself. I am an offensive security researcher, upcoming penetration tester, and aspiring red teamer as well as a learner. So let's get started with the topic. Before get started with the demonstration or any kind of explanation, let me clear you the fact what is an AI. I believe every one of you aware about that term because it everyday's life we directly or may not directly, it's indirectly we using this AI in various devices or maybe anywhere we're using that thing, AI. AI means artificial intelligence. So how we can describe artificial intelligence? That is any task performed by any program or a machine. If a human carried out the same activity, we would say the human had to apply intelligence to accomplish that task, right? So this here we can say the machine or the program is part of the AI. So I think it's very simple to understand what is AI. And now let's talk about which human intelligence is associated with or human behavior is associated with uh, AI part. That is first one, planning, learning, reasoning, problem solving, knowledge representation, motion and manipulation, etc., etc., perception as well as. So these are the things where AI is taking place, AI is coming into the picture. And now let me demonstrate you where artificial is being used in this field. Artificial intelligence really influencing every part of our daily lives. Today, thousands of tech companies have built state-of-art AI-powered cybersecurity defense solutions, as well as the artificial intelligence used in the solutions help avoid cyber attacks by anticipating possible threats from even occurring, right? And hence the use of AI in ethical hacking is much needed. So let's demonstrate one thing here. So where you will get that. Now let me get back to that, okay. Now let's get back to my terminal. So I will be explaining you how it's actually dangerous. So yeah, let me get, sorry, okay. Now let's start it. So see here, you can see what is opening up. Okay, now see, I think every one of you are familiar with Netflix, right? Netflix, and Netflix is these days in lockdown. I think Netflix is everyone's favorite apps where everyone is using this thing. So now I will be showing you one scary thing now. Just keep patience. So yeah, now I am having this browser over here. Yeah, minimizing it, opening new tab. So I will be, you get some URL shortener and you will, sorry, do not hit, not that thing. URL shortener, I think everyone is familiar with URL shortener. URL shortener is any kind of link you are providing, it will short that link to some, from particular format. There are various email shortener. So I will be using this email shortener, and I will be putting this link over here to shorten it. So what is that? That is E2 597 docc 12 .ng .io. Here you can see, let's shorten it, and here you can see this thing, right? This is the shortened link of that long link. This is the long link and this is the short link. So I will be sending it to the victim. Let's suppose I am a victim now, and I have got an offer or anything my friend has sent to me, or anyone whom I don't know, maybe from Facebook, maybe from Twitter, maybe from Instagram, or maybe from WhatsApp. I have got that link and I am pasting it on my browser. So let's open it, what it is showing. Let's check it. Wait for a few moments. Okay, sorry, uh, excuse me, have I, okay, wait, sorry, I think I have okay, I've messed it up. So DCC, not O, it's CC. Okay, sorry, sorry for the inconvenience. So it's now, again, it's shortened the link, and I've copied it and pasted it on. Now I'm a victim, and somewhat I have got the link, and I am pasting it on my browser to get any offer from the company, or maybe any price that is less, or I will got. Okay, again, dcc12.ng .io. Yeah, is the same link, right? E2597. Okay, it's actually I'm doing it, I'm hurrying up, so it's happening. Sorry again. So yeah, now it will open. Okay, now let's check it. Okay, boom. Yeah, it's connected now. Yeah, this, I think everyone can see is, this is what this is Netflix login page. So if like, maybe it is saying that I will get 3 months premium account, or 3 months free Netflix premium. So I have to log in. So I don't know about anything, or I don't know, or maybe it seems to me that it is genuine. So I am logging into this system, into the account. So I am using my password, and I'm logging it. Okay, so I'm a victim. I don't know, I'm really, I don't know anything about technology or something. So now what it did, it actually redirects me to, means, genuine page, right? It redirects me to the genuine page. But notice one thing here, still I am not signing in. If you are not from technical background, you cannot detect that thing, that you are not logging in, right? And still, if you are going here, you may think, that this might be technical fault or something. So you will ignore this thing, and again you will be logging in. But what just happened in the background? Let's check. See here the horrible part. I am, before being a victim, I was an attacker, and I implemented that link and I sent it to someone, and he filled his credentials and passwords, and I have got it now. Isn't it scary? Isn't it? You think you cannot think of, because nothing happened to you. No one, nothing, no harm to your system, or no, nothing happened to your system, no pop-ups, nothing. But what you just did, you did send the password and your username of Netflix account to some hacker, right? So now let me explain to you what just happened here. Actually, this is the link. Actually, this attacks is known as phishing attack. Phishing means, actually, let me clear you, let me tell you something. Since we all use the web regularly, and an internet browser is the most common browser, is common medium we use for like, accessing it. And because of the malicious nature and cyber crooks or ethical hack, no, sorry, I mean hacker or attacker have found several mechanisms to deceive innocent and unsuspecting user into delivering sensitive information by phishing, like this what I have did now, right? This method works when a cyber attacker, this method works only works when cyber attackers produce a fake mail, SMS, or any kind of message, video, phone calls, anything, or shopping site. It maybe can be shopping site, like it can be Flipkart, or it may be the Apple store, Apple, Apple, the iPhone store, can be anything. So they, what they offer goods, products, services at very incredible price, so that you cannot question that thing, that yeah, it can be genuine, it can genuine. So you just, what you do, just you enter your credit card or your information or personal information, sensitive data, like the username, password, what I did right now or right before, and then the innocent buyer never gets the product. But the innocent buyer never gets the product, but it was not the site where you, they sell product. It was to just to, to fish you. That's why. And your password, your credit card details, each and everything has, the attacker has everything of yours, sensitive information. Now, what cyber security professionals, this like how attackers are like using AI here. So AI is nothing but, like, see, here is the sites of 32 sites, 32 sites here, like 32 sites means, everything, each and every sites, they can clone their sites, and in background they are just they are tricking people to enter their details. So all is happening by AI technology, or automating things in background. So if we can manually, even phishing attack can be done in manually as well. How? Let me show you few example here. So you can see here. Okay, now I am opening here facebook.com. Here I am opening it, right? Now I will clone the page. Here I can clone the page. I will go to his source code, and I will clone all its source code, and I will open it on my browser, like edit, okay, editor, somewhere, leaf pad, no, editor, okay, text editor I will open. See, here I will pasting all the thing, and I will saving it as any name of HTML file. Okay, now where it has been saved, here open the folder, and it's been saved here. So here if I open it here, now you can see This is the Facebook page. What is the difference between two Facebook page? Now it's actually coming from the original Facebook location, but this page is hosting my in my local system. But if I want, I can host in another server. I will buy my own server and I will host from there, and I will manipulate those things. Here the same thing is happening here. If I have chosen nine here, like I have chosen PayPal, so it will show me, it will like the link which was associated with that will generate the PayPal's login page, and there you have to put the PayPal's credentials. But here what I did, I just put in the credentials of my LinkedIn ID. So that's the same thing. So these all things are associated with that. Rather than that, I have got the victim's IP address, victim location. Yeah, I am from Kolkata, so it's showing my who is my service provider, and such scary things you will get from here. So this is the things which attackers are using now. Okay, you are scary enough, I can understand, but let me tell you, should I close this? Yeah, okay. Now closing this, okay. Now let me tell you how you can, what actually now I will discuss the role of cybersecurity professionals or cybersecurity researcher who are like dedicating their time to protect this and using AI. So they have regarded artificial intelligence as countermeasures to this method of hacking. AI powered web browser or based firewall. So we can get web browser firewall which is intended to detect the uh, phishing pages, like the fake pages. They can easily detect and warn you so that you cannot trust that site. Maybe it may seem to you, it may seem it's real but not real if that detects that the firewall detects and filter application, each and everything, the extension. Now let me show you one important and most important thing which I think it's important, so that you will never be cheated. Okay, like this is one extension, right? If I am inside this page, this is real Netflix page, web page. Now if I am getting this thing, what is this? No risk rating, that means it is genuine site. Now let me go to that link, copy that link, I am pasting that link. Okay, it will not popping up because I have cancelled that thing. Still the main link, the long link, the long URL is the same. Now let's go to here. It is calculating, but it will not showing up anything, so I need to just start the process again, so it will take time. So just get it. If you open that netcraft extension, web extension, it will available on every browser, like generally Chrome and Firefox. You will get from their extension store. So if you open here, so you will be finding that it is risk factor is available. Risk factor means it is not genuine link, it is not facebook.com or Netflix. Here it's Netflix, and you will be getting that link is from Netflix, and it is actually means affiliated or something. You will get that. So here you will be get the original site link, but here when you open, you will not get the original site link, right? It's not working, that's why it's not showing. And let me tell you how you can just add that add-ons to your browser here. So go to Mozilla Firefox extension here, Firefox extension. Okay, now you will be clicking here to get extensions. So addons.mozilla.org, or if you are using Chrome browser, same kind of feature will be there, and you will get the extension by clicking, I think, extension.chrome.google dot something. There you will be getting extension, and just search for netcraft, netcraft. So if you just entering that thing, netcraft is the second phishing. See, here is the anti netcraft anti phishing extension. It will detect the phishing pages. Already I have added, that's why it's not showing me, but you will get, if you are installing for the first time, you will get here the add option. So just add it here, it will be automatically added to your browser. From the next time, whenever you will be opening, if you think that it is fishy website or something, just click it over here, and it will be showing you the site report. If it is genuine, then it will show nothing. If it is not genuine, it will show some risk factor over there. So this is the thing, how cyber security like countermeasures is there for phishing attacks, for AI powered phishing attacks. This is the modern solution of detecting any phishing web page. Rather, like before, no one gets to detect like this way. They cannot detect the web pages like that. So yeah, this is the example of how we can cybersecurity researcher implementing AI to detect those things, right? I think you have got that thing very well. So how those are, means, those things works. So yeah, now okay, wait, let me press that thing. Okay, now it will work. Okay, let me close these things. I think everybody know, like, get to know how it's actually happening. So now if I go to so that's the way, like, it is the use of AI to prevent the attacks, the phishing attacks. So now, coming to the conclusion, if I have to conclude that thing, so internet, that we need to access the internet, we need a web browser, right? We cannot, without any web browser, cannot access it. So yeah, it's common knowledge that billion people use the internet daily and for hours. We use browsers on any device we own, regardless whether I am using smartphone or tablet or laptop. The internet is an integral part of our daily life, or our daily lifestyle. So now the fact is not denied. You cannot deny that fact that now I don't use internet, or you have to use internet to be, modernize your, your professions, or maybe it's, if you are like want to get entertained, you have to use internet also. However, artificial intelligence only has the power to predict and take feasible countermeasures and block potential cybersecurity risk even ahead of time. We need to understand that the practicing privacy enhancement methods or plays a vital role here, and developing secure habit that can save us user save us from, like, we are as a user, those things can save us from attempted malicious attack on our devices, on our web browser, or maybe on our IoT devices, everything which are connected to internet. So we need to be like aware what we are clicking, what we are doing, or what things we are posting online or on the internet. So just be aware. So don't post anything which may cause you those attacks. Helps the attackers to get your information, your personal details. So just be aware of that. And remember one thing, I have told it before, where when I was having, like, in Planotech Media House. I came before and have given one talks about ethical hacking. I that time I also told that think before you click anything. Simple. And thank you very much for your time, and thank you very much the whole Planotech Media House for inviting me once again, and it's my pleasure being here. Thank you very much.
Okay, so a very warm welcome to everyone present over here. I, Janvi Rajesh Pawar, would like to introduce you all to our today's webinar session of Ethical Hacking and Cybersecurity Special, presented by Planotech Media House on the topic of crafting transformative information, a special webinar with renowned ethical hackers and cybersecurity experts. Get ready for an unforgettable experience. Thank you. Now, moving ahead with our today's first session, I would like Danush to introduce them. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody here. Well, it's a very pleasant to have all the speakers around on the Planetech Media House. So here we start the session with the first speaker, Ritesh Bhatia, who is a cybercrime investigator and also a cybersecurity consultant and also a founder director of V4 Web Cybersecurity. We're very glad to have you on the platform of Planetech Media House. The show is yours, sir.
Thank you, Danush, and hello to all the participants, my co-panelists, moderator, and Janvi. And thank you so much, Planetech Media, for giving me this opportunity to speak to all of you. I've been in this profession for the past 20 years, and I'm kind of over here to set the stage for all these ethical hackers whom you are eagerly waiting to hear them out. So I wouldn't talk like technical things, because there are four more to speak technically to you, and they're really good as such. So let me talk to you about the cyber crimes and what is trending. So since I have around 15 to 20 minutes, I'll try to cover as much as I can. Any questions you have, please put it up in the Q&A box or in the chat, or just let the moderator and the other organizers know about it. So what I was told, that there are in fact in the audience right now, also the attendees who are there and all those who are listening to me, there are a lot of youngsters also. So now when we are talking about cyber crimes and trending cyber crimes, so let me begin with the first one. And the first one, it comes under the category of sextortion. Now, under sextortion, there are many cyber crimes happening, but let me tell you, 1.1, like sextortion, the first sextortion. So the first extortion thing that I'm going to talk to you is about the sextortion scam. Now this is really a scam, because here actually no kind of sextortion happens, and hence we call it as a sextortion scam. Now, what exactly it is? What is the modus operandi? Many of you must have got an email which would have fortunately landed up in a spam box, which would be saying, even in the subject line or even in the start, it would have said, look, this is your username and this is your password. And how I know this password is because I hacked you. You know, I got into your laptop, I installed a malware, and while you were watching pornography last night, I was able to capture you. So on one, so I just, you know, switched on your camera remotely, and here I recorded you while you were doing certain obscene acts. And on the other side, I also recorded what you were watching. So now, if you don't want me to leak this kind of thing, it's better you pay me so much and so much money in Bitcoins. So friends, let me tell you, this is a pure scam. Nothing like this has ever happened. Okay, they have no videos of yours. Take it from me. They have nothing. They even have hacked your computer, even if you didn't have an antivirus. I'm telling you, they haven't hacked also. I'm referring only to this particular email. So your question would be, then sir, what about my password? So here, the password is something that was breached. Okay, you know, you must have heard about the data breaches that have happened in the past. Like, let's say a big data breach happened about Zomato, of LinkedIn, and of so many websites. Every day in the news or in the media or on your WhatsApp, you keep hearing, okay, this particular thing has been breached and they had my email and they had my password. Now, what you do is you just go and change the password over there at that particular account only, correct? So here, what these guys do, the bad hackers, I'm not talking about the hackers who are going to come and speak next, the bad hackers. Now, these guys, what they do is they go onto the dark web, all these databases are there, they compile them, they scrape all the usernames and the passwords, they make one kind of they write a script, and now they send an email to millions and millions of people. So did people fall victims? Yes. I alone in the last, like I would say during the COVID lockdown, I got around 20 to 30 such calls. They were distress calls. In fact, one of the person who called me was actually suicidal also. Another one actually paid up, but you don't have to really worry about it. So this is like the kind of modus operandi that's happening. So that password of yours, which is there, is like available. And I hope you guys, you know, and that is the reason whenever there is a breach, they say change your password. So let's say there was a breach on Adobe. So if there is a breach on Adobe, you've got to go and change that password of yours. And if you're using that same password, which ideally you shouldn't be doing, if you're using that same password anywhere else also, please go and change it over there. So next time, so like, you know, let me tell you, even I received that mail, and it's just not one. I think I must have received 7 to 8 times, and it always showed me my password, and I completely ignored it because I know that password was breached in some database, and in any case, I don't use that password. So this was the sextortion scam coming under the cybercrime number one, sextortion. So now let's go to cybercrime number 2 or 1.2 because again of sextortion. So all you young guys out over there, and I'm referring to the boys, to the youngsters, to the boys, the young men also. Lately, what is happening is now since the lockdown is like there, many people are not able to use their ATMs or even go to kind of, you know, or outside. So the card skimming and all has like is at its all-time low. So what these guys are doing now, these guys, they send you, you know, when you go onto Instagram, you would get a friend request. It could be Facebook, it could be Instagram, but primarily it is happening on Instagram that you would be getting a request. You would just say, okay, allow, you would accept that person. And now that person turns out to be a girl and a pretty picture, and she starts chatting with you. Then she says, no, I don't want to chat on the messenger. I don't want to start a chat with you on the Instagram. So why don't you do one thing? Just share your WhatsApp number and let's chat over there. So you know, of course, as any other normal man would do or normal boy would do, you just share your number. Now you share the number, you start chatting. Within 2 minutes, this particular person, the girl, calls you and she makes a video call to you. Now, when she makes a video call to you, you also answer the video call. The moment you answer, what do you see? You see the girl is stripping. She's she's stripping and then she's completely nude. And while she's doing that, she also chats with you and tells you, why don't you do the same? So, you know, you say, oh wow, this is a great thing. Why not? And you also start, you know, you're obscene now. You know, you're fully stripped, you're nude. And When the act is over, she says bye bye to you, you say bye to her, she hangs up. Immediately, you get a message. The message is nothing, is again from her, it's from the same girl, and she says, I have your recording. And now pay me 30,000, 50,000, or 1 lakh rupees or whatever. Otherwise, I already know who your parents are thanks to Facebook and other kind of things. She's already profiled you, in some other name. She came in over there and you accepted that friend request or even on the Facebook, and that's it. She has all your information and now she wants to do that and she starts blackmailing you. And this is why it's called as sextortion. Any blackmailing, any extortion of money using any obscene pictures or, having the condition of obscenity in it is called as sextortion. So here now she says that. And few days back, because now my wife is a cyber psychologist, so we also have an organization called as Cyber BAP, which stands for Cyberbullying Awareness, Action, and Prevention. So all bullying related complaints come over there. And then when we, suddenly we saw that in the past 2 months, there has been a spurt in these kind of complaints. When I investigated these cases, what I realized was that the girl who called you was actually not a girl. The person who was stripping, the girl who was stripping, was actually a video that was playing. So the moment you said yes, you answered the video call, you saw a girl, stripping, but that was not the real girl. That was not live. That was a recorded video. So friends, what I'm trying to tell you is don't fall into these traps. Her friend zaruri hota hai, aisa nahi hai. That's something on Airtel and let it be over there. But on Facebook, her friend zaruri nahi hota hai. Don't try to, just accept any damn person that you don't know, because here there is nothing that even you can do. You share your number and somebody just like makes a video call and you're doomed. So what do you need to do if something like this has happened to you or happens with your friend? Completely ignore it. Okay, don't get panicked. Just don't get panicked. These people don't have so much of information and they don't have so much of time also that they're going to go and they will definitely show you that we are uploading on YouTube. They will send the screenshots also. Even if it gets uploaded, YouTube will bring it down within a second. They have their algorithms in place. They will bring it down if it is like really obscene and all that, even if one of you report it. So don't accept such requests. Don't even please, share any such information. In fact, as far as the video is concerned or something, what we call as sexting, don't engage into that because we really don't know whether the opposite person is a male or female. By the way, when we came to know about this, the opposite person, 99% of the cases was a male only and was playing the video of, which he had downloaded it from some porn website. So guys, please be extremely careful as far as these things are concerned. Now, the last category of sextortion, there are many more I can talk to you about, but for 1.3, I would say in sextortion is, so all you ladies out over there, or all you girls out over there, and even boys. So please keep one thing in mind. There are many times, when we go out, we go to like, let's say shop a stop, or we go to different places, and what we try to do, we when we are inside the changing room, we take a picture. I'm talking about the women, and they would want to send it to their husbands, or the girlfriend would want to send it to the boyfriend, or the fiancé to the fiance, things like these. But please understand, while you think that your images are private, are kept in your phone, don't forget that apps have access to your gallery. And and your gallery is also synced. It's synced to your cloud, and it's synced at many other places. And any kind of a breach or a hack can result in leaking of those pictures, and hence the reason of revenge pornography increasing so much is because of this also. So wherever you are trying to click yourself, so even there are women who would want to speak to their skin specialist or to their gynecologist for some issue related to their private parts, don't do that. Please understand, we have got a lot of cases related to this, and then we realized neither of them intentionally meant to do something like that. It was in good faith that somebody wanted to send a picture maybe to the gynecologist or to the fiance, but it landed in the wrong hand, and a lot of revenge pornography that has happened related to this. So this was as far as the sextortion is concerned. Now, the second thing I would want to talk to you about, you must have heard about, the liquor scam. And obviously, during this lockdown, liquor has been the most thing in demand, I guess, more than the hospital beds also. So here in the liquor scam, as we all know, what happens is, you search for a liquor store near me on Google, you see some liquor stores, and you see their numbers. When you call them up, there is a person who answers, and he says, "Okay, I'll deliver it to you, but I need all your credit card or debit card details." And because there is no other way for you to go and get liquor, what you do is you actually give all your details. But the other guy uh, but the person who's there on the other side is not really from that store. He managed to make edits to the help to the business listing, what we call it as a Google My Business page. He managed to do changes over there and insert his number. So it's just not related to liquor. This has happened with many of the online, all these like, let's say you're looking for a courier company, you're calling up over there, or it actually happened at a place. It happened in a mandir also, wherein a lady wanted to book the mandir for some funeral ceremony. I mean, I'm talking to you about before the lockdown, when she wanted to book the hall for some, what we call as chotha, and take condolences. The people come over and all that. So, and she lost 70,000-80,000 rupees over there. So the thing is that whenever you want to make a call, please, just by Googling and you just see the call button, it cannot be that. It's better to go to the app or go to that particular website and find out. And even, let's say, once even you have found out, please ensure that you cannot share all these details, the credit card and the OTPs and the CVV numbers. So please keep that in mind. The third thing I would come to is about the data breaches as far as our financial data is concerned. So which means I'm talking about the credit card and the debit card data. A lot of our data, I think it's there in crores of records of our data is there online on the dark web, wherein the name, the expiry date, the 16-digit number, the CVV number, okay, all this is available. So now you will tell me, fine, it's there. How does it matter to me? Because the PIN is with me, the OTP is with me. Friends, please understand one thing, that on many websites, internationally I'm talking about, you neither need the PIN nor you need the OTP. So if I have your credit card or debit card, all I need is just to take a photograph of your front and back, and I can just go and make any sort of purchases online, buy gift cards, or maybe buy things for my friends who are abroad from foreign websites. So please remove this out of your head that, okay, as long as the OTP and the PIN is with me, my card is safe. No, not at all. In India, you're safe, or wherever the OTP and PIN is required, till that extent, you're safe. So whenever you're going out, we still have a habit of handing out our credit cards, and, the person goes and he goes to the counter, swipes it, comes back with the POS device, and then you enter. No, never let your credit or debit card out of your site. It always has to be on your in your hand. Insist that the POS device is given to you, you insert it, you key in, and cover it. Also cover it, when you're entering your 4-digit PIN. But now what do we do about the data that is already breached, and our data which is over there? If we ask the bank, ideally this was the bank's responsibility to change, to change our cards, but they haven't done so because there's a cost to it. Secondly, now you can't even ask because there's a lockdown and we don't know whether it will reach on time with the courier and all. So what you can do right now is go to your net banking, go to your bank's website, go to the card section. You will have an option of disabling international card transactions. So even if your card data is breached, okay, let's say you're one of those unlucky ones, even if your card data is there, announced to the world also, if they try to make any sort of transaction outside India, will they be able to do it? No. Why? Because your bank has now disabled the international transaction. And if in India somebody tries to do, is that cool? Yeah, let them do it, because now definitely they'll need the OTP and the PIN as such. So it's extremely important, friends, that you please go and disable your debit and credit cards, the international transactions related to that. Don't take it lightly. 3 months back, the client who came to me because of this particular breach only, this dark web thing that I'm telling you, he lost 8.15 lakh rupees. Yes, now the credit card limits are also quite high. So even today, losing 1,000 rupees also pinches, especially in this kind of the down economy where jobs are uncertain. So every penny is important, because whatever money is saved is money that is earned. So while you are not splurging it, at least don't be stupid for other hackers, to get that kind of money. So sincere request to disable your international transactions. Well, I think I'm kind of nearing my time. So if you have any kind of questions, please just let me know. Janvi, are there any questions for me,
That was
or do
really
you want me
amazing.
to
You
continue?
spoke about all those criminal kind of hacks or cyber crimes which has been happening around in a simpler words, and you put to that to all the youth saying about the sharing your unwanted pictures with an unwanted person would surely get you yourself in a trouble. And we want to ask you, Dan, what is that major thing which has been happening around for the every youth out there without their notice or something? They're reaching out this kind of people. How are they reaching this particular targets?
Okay, so Dhanush, if I have understood your question correctly, is you're saying that how do these cyber criminals, we are not talking about hackers, okay, we're talking about the cyber criminals, how are they reaching out to you, right?
Yes.
Okay, so now interestingly, let's restrict ourselves only and only to India for the moment. Okay, now and let me tell you with a case study. There was a driver. The driver got a call during the lockdown. A poor fellow saying that I'm calling from so and so company. I mean a courier company, and I have your parcel to be delivered. We also told him what's there in the parcel. Okay, there were medicines in the parcel, and he was eagerly waiting for it. And it was sent by his friend who was in Delhi, who packed it. Okay, put it in a cover, wrote his address, and gave it to a very, very large, one of the most popular courier companies. You can think of the first name that comes to your mind, it is that. Okay, and he gets a call from that fellow. The fellow says, okay, look, I have to confirm that this is you only. So you just got to make a 2 rupee transaction. Now, 2 rupees is nothing. You just got to make 2 rupee transaction. So would you do that? He sends him a form. Okay, he fills up the form. The moment he fills up the form, he gets an OTP. The person says, okay, not an OTP, he gets a message. He says, okay, you must have got a message. Please forward this message over here. And that will confirm that you're over, that you are the actual person whom this parcel needs to be delivered, and we'll deliver it to you. The person did exactly as it is, and he lost 20,000 rupees in no time. Now, firstly, so wasn't this a courier fellow? No, this was a cyber criminal. But how did he come to know about this? It's because the data is either breached, or the person who was delivering it, or maybe somebody from the back house, from the admin team, from the backend team of this large organization, is like sharing all the names and the mobile numbers and the contents also of the parcel to the fraudsters, because that also is another big business. That is a big business. In fact, during my investigations, when I spoke to a Xerox fellow, a photocopier fellow, so I just casually asked him, I said, what all things are like really happening and all. He says, we get a lot of inquiries to, to buy out photocopies of people's credit cards, debit cards, identity cards. So I said, how much do you pay? He says it's anything between 1 rupee to 10 rupees. So I said, what do you people do? This is not a bad business, because in a day, I make at least 500 different copies, so that fetches me approximately 5,000 rupees. So if you see, so again, at the photocopying center also, you need to be so careful that if you ask for like one copy of your PAN card, it should be one. He's pressed one, given you, and that's it. Of course, they have the ways to make another one also, because it gets saved temporarily in the hard disk also. But at least you can be this careful. Now over here, how did the driver lose the money? The driver lost the money because he actually in the form, which was again a fake form. It was made in Google and it had the company logo and all. And he believed it. Oh yeah, maybe it is this form only. And he gave his UPI pin also. So please, so you have to understand that today passwords, pins, and even UPI pins are extremely confidential. So a lot of these companies, if you when you were asking me how are they getting the data and all, so there are many rogue elements inside the company, what we call as the insiders, who are selling such kind of data. Back to you, Dhanush.
That was amazing to hear about those insiders who are working to get our personal information on. I have one more small question which everybody have been heard about, the cybercrime which has been happening on Facebook, saying that the third party person who can see our text or who can see the image, we've been sharing on to the other individual person. What is your note about that?
The so yes, so what has been happening was that Facebook had given that kind of permission, to all these third parties who could actually access all that. And so you saw so many messages coming up that the third party people have access to all the information, so please disable it and all that. So do that. Yes, it's a great thing to do that, because this is completely against the privacy, and I don't want to talk about privacy because there are people who are going to speak on privacy post me, the other panelists. But yet, please see the big statement. The big statement is Facebook says, but yet we will have access to all that you do with those other people. So remember, there is not much escaping from these giants. The only practice or the thing that you should do is minimization. Data minimization is very important. Like, if you right now take a photograph of mine or a screenshot of me and talking, and if this spreads, I'm okay with it. So I should be like putting only that kind of a data, which is fine even if it goes public, So which means what? I'm personally not very happy in putting my full length pictures, because why should I give unscrupulous elements a chance to morph also? So we need to maintain these sorts of hygiene. And the faster you do it, the sooner you do it, it's the better, because this will become like a kind of a movement. We ourselves took 200 years to get freedom. So if you really need to get freedom from all these sort of like stupid things that keep happening on Facebook and Instagram and on all the social media, we need to understand this. Okay, fine, let me put a picture, but let that be of a low resolution. Let me put up an image, but let that be a little far off, and maybe it's not the full length also. So these are small things that we really need to take care of. Because let me just take 2 minutes and tell you about the deep nude part of it, or the sari challenge. What happened? How did this sari challenge come up? Do you think it was of one woman who thought, okay, let me wear a sari and do it? No, these are the people who are into artificial intelligence, or these are the bad guys who now really want to make their particular, I would say, the database kind of, or their models, what they call it as, like really superb. They want to make it like foolproof. So, we had something like deep nudes. What does deep nude do? Deep nude takes your picture, and within a matter of seconds, it gives you exactly the same picture, completely nude, with the entire background remaining intact. So this is done by the artificial. In morphing, it was a different thing. Morphing, you would use like an image editing software like a Photoshop. You would take the nude body of somebody and the head of this particular person with the clothes, and you would do Photoshop. So there were chances where the skin of the face and the skin of the body didn't match. But in deep nude, nothing like this. Everything matches. Nobody can say like, no, this is not deep nude. Of course, the experts can, but I'm talking about a general, and a common citizen, okay, cannot say that. A layman cannot say that. They'll say, no, it's you only. So what will happen with the sari challenge also? The same thing. Now you want to train your model all the more. So earlier, those pictures were more of bikinis, and the deep nudes were doing fantastically well. But now what about the saris one? So now the model is trying to remove the saris and the blouse and give you an exactly, an obscene or a nude picture of the particular woman. So please don't get into all these things of hashtag sari challenge or lungi challenge or whatever challenge you want to. You know, this is just going to get worse and worse. Let our data should not become fodder for these artificial intelligence algorithms.
That was amazing to hear about, and about all the cyber crimes happening around of this. I have one last question for you, and that is actually related to our Indians, where you know about that India is standing now as a digital India. We all educated have known more about these cyber crimes and happening. You being a cybercrime investigator, how would you approach, or how would you convey all these things to the core people who are not that much educated about all these things? How would you say them out?
Okay, so here I would say restrict yourself. You know, uh, friends and I mean, I would say the family members, do not go and try and educate the people who are not very cyber literate. Okay, if they are cyber illiterate, it's fine. It's absolutely fine because there is more harm being done than good for them also. So don't, like, for example, let's say my father is there. Now my father is 70 years old. you know, I've just given him an app where he can check his account, bank balance, and all. But third party transferring any sort of money, no ways. He's okay. It's absolutely fine. He takes the check, he couriers the check, or he writes the check, he goes to the bank. It's all fine. Of all the cases that I've got, let me reveal one thing to you. Out of 100 cases that I get, 95 cases, I'm not exaggerating, 95 cases are of those people who are young, educated, and cyber literate. So they didn't have that awareness. No, they had that awareness. But then what happens? Maybe it was the overconfidence कि ये मेरे साथ नहीं हो सकता है. So please restrict ourselves. If, like, that's the same thing with the digital apps. How many digital payment apps you people have? The digital payment apps. You must be having Google Pay, you must be having Paytm, Phone Pay, Amazon Pay, all sorts of things. Because आपको ₹5 का इधर better offer मिला, you shift over there. आपको इधर ₹50 cashback मिल रहा है, you move over there. But are you like really ready to handle so many? Do you have like 10 bank accounts? No, you have maximum 2 bank accounts. So why are you having 5 or 10 different payment apps? So restrict yourself. Don't try to learn everything. Okay, whatever you want to learn, just be completely aware about it, because the space is too huge, it's too vast for anyone to learn everything. Now there's so much I can learn about hacking, but I don't want to. So I rather restrict myself. So if I'm a finance guy, let me restrict myself to finance and understand the dangers in my financial sector. Let me not go overboard it. So don't try to like experiment with everything. It can cost you your reputation, it can cost you your image, it can cost you your money. So restrict as far as the digital platform is concerned, in terms of data, in terms of learning. And please don't try to like become a Superman and empower the senior citizens. Sorry, they are not really, not that, no offense to my all senior citizens people, but please allow the youngsters to help you out. Seek their support, ask them to help you out for any digital transaction, because today, whatever you're getting information on WhatsApp also is completely unbelievable. So please depend on some youngsters, and I request youngsters to help out their parents and grandparents.
That was amazing to hear about all the digital India getting uneducated about all the cyber crimes. Hope even I would start helping all these people to know more about the cyber crimes happening. And yes, you told about the youths. 95% of your clients have been youths and suffering from all the cyber crimes. Hope all this come down one day. Thank you.
So if you're talking about cyber crimes, yes, I would want to tell you this, that keep your eyes and ears open for any kind of cyber crime that has happened. Like, for example, if somebody purchased liquor and how did he get defrauded, So read a lot about it whenever it comes in papers. Don't just but don't jump into that even I will make a purchase online. No, whenever you have to, at least a case should come in front of you. Oh yes, this is a case I had heard about. So read these kind of cases, because every day you cannot get awareness from, all the experts and other things. But yeah, open the papers, and wherever you see a person has been frauded, just pay attention and tell yourself, हाँ मेरा भी number लग सकता है. This was the Netflix का tagline that सबका number आएगा, and honestly I know मेरा भी आएगा, धनुष आपका भी आएगा, हम सबका आएगा. We just have to wait for that day.
Thank you so much for being on Planetic Media House, sir. We really had a very good time knowing about all the cyber crimes. We had very glad information from your side. Thank you so much for being on the Planetic Media House.
Thank you. It's been my pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ritesh. It was nice to
Thank
have
you
you
so
over
much,
here.
Janvi. Thank you.
Moving ahead, we would like to call upon our next speaker, who is Santosh Thupar. He is an entrepreneur, explanatory tester, ethical hacker, and an international speaker, a keynote speaker, automation expert, and a OWASP cheat sheet contributor. He would be presenting us today on the topic of problems and their solutions, hacking as well as theft issues. Welcome, Santosh Thupar, sir. Over to you.
Great. Let me turn on my video here so that people love watching me. All right. Okay. I hope the bandwidth doesn't go off. Hello, everyone. I would like to address you people as the people of internet and people of the beautiful planet Earth. And maybe you are not saying, okay, our planet is not as much as beautiful nowadays, but you know what? Okay, it will pass away. Don't worry about it. So without further ado, I'm Santosh Tupad, and I'll be speaking on problems, right? We all have problems, and be it in life or be it in computers, be it in our work, be it in our insurance policies. It's I think we need to call it like the universe of the problems rather than something else. I have been an international speaker, and I keep traveling to different countries and helping people to learn ethical hacking, or in short, it's about security, be it your physical infrastructure, be it your applications. It could be a desktop application or your web applications, or it could be even breaching someone's house and stealing the diamonds or gold or the money, right? So I'm going to speak the first problem here, which will be not really in sequence, but the main point, and that goes this way. How secure are we on this planet when we start using different softwares in our computers, and we tend to talk to people who could be healthcare officials, or who could be e-commerce customer support, or who could be our parents, or who could be our best friends, right? And the point number one is we are absolutely insecure across the globe. Now, this is it's not to scare you, but actually it is what it is. Many people will tell you, oh, you need not worry about it. Oh, this is fine. This is great. No, we are absolutely insecure. And I totally mean it. It just means that you haven't been a victim till date. That's all. Like we know, okay, it could be tomorrow or it could be today, or you have already been a victim, but you do not know that you have been a victim. Maybe someone else is already using your data, and you think that, oh, I'm too busy for this information, and I have been only paying my insurance bills or electricity bills, because you are so busy and your brain cannot really process the information in terms of who is hacking me and why would someone hack me, because I'm a very innocent person. I don't have enemies. Well, you think that you don't have enemies, but probably you will always have enemies, no matter what kind of a person you are, whether you are super good, whether you are a kind person, whether you are a good person, whether you are a bad person, doesn't matter to them. So that's where I'm speaking about. We are insecure. That's point number one, which is a problem number one. And we don't like to get educated. The reason being that is, again, goes back to the busy life. And we don't listen or we don't read a lot of blogs. We don't talk to people in terms of security, or watching videos on YouTube, how certain people hack someone else. Or we don't even think that someone could really get into my account. For instance, Janvi, are you there? Hello?
Yes. Hi.
I would like to do an exercise here. Yeah, cool.
Sure.
So Janvi, you have a Facebook account, right?
Yes,
All
I
right.
have.
So that's cool. Okay, you're on, so that's really cool that you're on Facebook. And I would like to ask you some information here. And that is, what's your password like? Is it 10 characters or 20 characters or 8 characters or 15? What is it? What's the length of it?
I need to count that.
Uh, you can just count. No worries at all.
It's probably 13, 14. Yeah.
Great. 13, 14. And should I trust you on this?
Yes.
All right. Thank you so much for your affirmation in terms of saying, hey, look, Santosh, you can trust my answer, which is 13 or 14 characters. Now, Janvi, don't you think that's a sensitive information, knowing that, okay, who you are speaking to?
Probably it is.
All right. So for sure, even the length of the password is very sensitive information, because I know that Janvi falls under that password topology or that geography, where she might be always having the passwords maybe from 10 to 15 characters. So what I do is I use the brute force tools, or maybe create different password lengths from 10 to 15 characters, because that reduces the complexity, because I have this sensitive information which is 13 or 14, or else I had to keep requesting for every character length, like 5 characters, 6 characters, 7 characters. So the lengths will make it complex. But as I have this information 13 and 14, I will generate all the passwords which are only 13 and 14. So Janvi, one more next question to you. I'm not trying to hack you, so you can always trust me because you have already started to trust me here. Okay, so let's continue on that. Now, your password ends with a number, the Facebook password.
Yes.
Amazing. And you're very much sure the way you said it. Okay, that's cool. You see that how easy it is to extract the information. Even though Janvi knew that, okay, she is not, it's a sensitive information. I created this trust, making it look like, you know what, we are in the webinar and probably it will help the audience. And Santosh is a very respectable person. And let me tell him. And once you heard this question in terms of your password ends with a number, Janvi was like that smile as well, and her endorphin levels went high. And that's when I got to know, okay, she is telling real truth. So also watch out for the physiological expressions on someone's face. For instance, I can ask someone, I can go to my friend and I can say, hey, look, I know where you had been last night. And what? Do you know? Then I know there is something sneaky about this person, right? So, that's where I call keep a close eye on the expressions and their eyebrows, and this is where you can do the study of the facial expressions or the physiological expressions, how they are feeling, their body language, and everything. So that was a quick demonstration about how we tend to give out a lot of information because of whatsoever reasons. It could be password, it could be our ATM pin. Maybe I can say, you have a bank account. And some people do not know that, okay, there are 6-digit pin number nowadays to some of the bank accounts. Now, why did they increase this complexity from 4 digits to 6? There's a reason behind it, because if you do a 4 digits permutations, so that will give you a certain number. So these are repeated like 1121 or 1211. So that's why we use permutations and not really combinations, because 112 is as good as 211, because combination doesn't matter where it's starting from, the order, but the permutations, it will repeat as well. From, if it's 1211, it will also say 1121, the reverse way. So that's permutations. So what people do is they generate all these permutations and they bombard your OTP. OTP is 4 digits, right? And some people have increased it to 6 now. It's the same thing with the iPhone, where people had a 4 digits and now they have 6, which means they are trying to make it much more harder for the evil guys who are the black hat hackers, who could be a cyber criminal by themselves with the hacking skill, and it could be a script kiddie. And well, we know about black hat hacker and the white hat hacker, but who are these script kiddies? And script kiddies are the ones who just use some software and they point and click on a button and then it hacks something, because they don't understand the nitty-gritties of how the software works and why am I doing this hack. So they can use your data to perform some kind of attack and make you a victim. So that's the second one, which I'm speaking about, social engineering. So my definition of social engineering is hacking oxytocin and amygdala of your brain. So understanding how your brain functions by talking to you more and more often, and then trying to build a trust. So I trust Santosh Tupad because I have been speaking and this person is very helpful and a kind person. That's how it looks like, right? But maybe this person is a sneaky bastard and maybe he's cooking a plan in his brain and then will implement it after a week or after 1 year or after 2 years, because he's getting a master plan for all the targets, right? So let's move on to the third point. So don't worry about the number of points here. So just understand the main message behind it. The third point is about white hat hackers or security researchers working in the companies are barking at the wrong tree. So they, every day, be it many companies, I wouldn't like to take the names of them because they are going to put a case on me, Indian Penal Code section number 499 and 500 for defamation, right? So the names are masked here. I'm not going to tell the names, but everyone goes to their office, they sit there and they go to their manager, oh my God, it's 4 o'clock. The clock is ticking and I'm happy because it will be 5 soon. It's 9 to 5 job. So these people can go out, they can talk to their friends and everything. And that's where they are not really making their work personal. They always want to run. The moment they start working, most of them, I'm not telling everyone, because I don't want you to file a case against me again, saying that, okay, you're telling in a generic way. So what all they do is they start looking at the watch, clock. Okay, it's 9. Okay, it's 12. Let me go to cafeteria and let me speak. Let me go and bitch about my manager. Oh, you know what? I'm not loving this job. Okay, this person is such an idiot or something. So those are the cafeteria talks. Okay, so you don't go there to speak about. Don't you know how? Can I get to know how the firewall works, or can I know how this function works or something? No, it's not about that. It's all about how can I throw the stone to some other employee and who will be my best friend with whom I can share all this. So white hat hackers, security researchers, these are the good guys, not the bad guys. That's how the world thinks, because maybe all of you are already thinking that Santosh Tupad is a good guy, right? So that's a trust game. I'm building this trust. Maybe I will try to take a screenshots of all the attendees and the panelists, and I will try to go to Facebook, Twitter, and on Google and try searching and build a great persona of them and study them for 6 months. And on the 7th month, I will write an email to you saying, okay, I'm writing to you because I know you are a security tester or you are a security researcher. I would like to share something with you. And then we become friends, because I will also take some help from someone saying that can you please be my guru? And these gurus always love it. They feel that, oh my God, I'm a guru. Okay, maybe I can try to help this person. But you know what? Actually, that person who is calling you a guru is a hacker. So that person is actually building a great trust in your eyes, and also that person is making you so happy in your brain and your body. How do you feel? And that's the bigger problem about these security researchers and the white hat hackers. Of course, I'm saying that it's a problem because we are barking at the wrong tree. The reason being that black hat hackers are not usually what we think, because, okay, I need to mask it. This data, I'm not going to reveal it because it's only for me. So that's like a credentials of mine. So point number 4, companies highly rely on certifications on a quarterly basis. So people who come to me, to my company, they tell me, hey Santosh, I have a problem with the security testing. And I ask them, you know what, there should be some reason why you are coming to me. Maybe your customers told you that you need to do a quarterly basis security assessment of your software. The second one could be maybe someone was beating you up and you are crying like a baby and you are coming to me because you already you already went through this security breach in your application, and that's where you are coming to me saying, Santosh, can you please help me? Or the third one is people care about security of their software, but the third ones are very rare because most of them do not care. All they care is, okay, I got this venture capitalist, I got like millions of dollars in funding, seed A, seed B, seed C, and they're done. They're done because it's all about money for them until someone punches them in the mouth. So that's where I would like to quote Mr. Mike Tyson, the boxer. So where he says, everybody has a plan until someone punches in their mouth, right? So then they start crying like a baby. So that's a thing. So do your due diligence, and security is important. And even nowadays, when someone wants to interview me, they ask me, Santosh, why security testing or why ethical hacking? And I'm like, shit, we are still talking about why part here? Haven't we? I mean, we have been speaking for more than a decade now, and we are still speaking about the same question. It's just like saying, why lunch? Why breakfast? Why dinner? I mean, I think we have already passed that phase and we have moved on. And we should not be actually insulting the craft itself by saying, okay, why security testing? And also the reason is you all have doors and windows. You lock your doors. Why do you lock your doors? Keep them open. No, because we say, okay, there are thieves. Okay, someone can get into my house. Okay, someone can throw a stone into my house. I don't want them to do it, so I need to lock my home. Well, it's the same thing with the software. There are many people, thieves, but now it's all digital. It's not the guns or the bombs. It's all the bits and pieces, right? Zeros and ones. So that's how they hack your data. It could be your bank transaction where someone transfers like 1,000 rupees or 10 lakh Indian rupees. Why did I say 1,000 Indian rupees and not directly 1 lakh or 10 lakh? The reason being that is for someone 10 rupees is valuable, bigger. For someone 100 rupees is bigger. For someone even 10 lakhs is nothing. So we all have a different way of looking at this materialistic world and how much can I afford to lose and how much does it matter and how much it doesn't really matter. So what I would love to say here is social engineering is the biggest hack. The technology comes later. For instance, and some of the technologists tell me this, Santosh, it's not about social engineering. It's only about technical aspect. Then I say, being contradicting my own point, both are here. So it's balancing, not really one part or not only the second part. So I did this in one of the large corporation. Before I used to give out the names like totally a free spirit, but nowadays I have learned my lesson that don't speak about specific name of a corporation or a person, right? So because the laws are different. So what I would say is the bigger corporation, and I went there at 8:30 a.m. in the morning because I was going to do a 3 days security testing workshop for them, all the employees in a very big corporation. Maybe you already got a name in your head, but I'm not going to confirm, all right? So what I did, I went there and the security guard asked me, sir, where do you need to go? I said, okay, I'm going to be a speaker here, a workshop, a facilitator, a trainer. And he said, there has to be someone who has to escort you from here to inside. And this person, my contact person was not in that premises. And I had to call that person. And then I tell him, hey, look, okay, people are not allowing me, the security guard. And he says, no, no, don't worry, okay, I'll come there. And then I start having conversation with the security guard saying that, what's your passion? And he says, my passion is tabla, all right? Probably you already know that what I'm going to do with all this information. So once this person says tabla, I said, oh, wow, musician. All right, that's cool. And that person starts smiling. And then I literally knew that, okay, where he's falling into. And then he says tabla, and I say guitar, right? And I was telling to myself that I hope that this person doesn't know much about guitar, right? Because if he asks me certain question about guitar and I'm like, oh, I don't know about it, then he may start looking at me in a very doubtful manner. So I talking about it. I started appreciating his skills, and then he said, "Sir, I wanted to be a musician, but you know what? Life is crap, and I had to come here to Bangalore and work as a security guard." Then I started motivating his passion, and then he really connected to me very well. And in the end, he tells me, "Sir, aap andar ja sakte ho. You can go inside. No worries. All right." So that was my physical infrastructure bridge to social engineering. And thanks for the compliment, Janvi. Okay, you're laughing, and I cannot see many other folks though. But that was so easy to get in infrastructure. And security guards, like they say, agar boss ko patana hai to usko watchman ko pata lo, right? So this is what I did there. I could get inside, and I'm a social engineer freak. How I do things, how I communicate, how I look into them, okay, where I go to their Facebook account, look into their likes, look into what they hate, go through their comment section. Oh, this person really hates this kind of thoughts, right? It could be any kind of views about a person. So that's about social engineering. I will move on to the next one. So certifications, the summary is certifications for companies do not help. You need people working around the clock, 24 bar 7, 365 on security testing, and not going to a vendor and saying, hey, look, you need to do security testing because it's a quarterly assessment. You need to give me one certificate after like 5 days or 10 days of security testing, and you give out a great, charming, and decorated report to the customer. And they're like, wow, this report looks like really crazy and awesome, right? But the content is super crap, right? The content doesn't matter to the most of the managers is what I'm speaking about. No names here, but the managers say, I love colors. It's like a holy always, right? In your Excel spreadsheets and everything. So that's the thing they look forward to. But my question to these managers is, why do you go on a quarterly assessment for only 5 days? Are these black hat hackers telling, you know what, we'll hack you only when you get the security testing? What's happening in between these quarters, right? 5 days here, 5 days here. What's happening in between? The hackers are not kind like me, Santosh Tupad, where they would say that, we will not hack you, okay, we will wait for you and everything. They're always on your application. They have a motive, and the motive could be anything, a grudge, they hate you, or there is some employee who works in that team and they're hacking the whole application, right? So it's not just the company, it's also who is working in the company and their nature. And that's why you do a background check. You know what? A person like me can get through background check easily, right? Because I act like, what's a firewall? What did you say? Because depends on the nature of the job or a profession I'm applying for, right? So let me not dig deeper. So if you are interested, you can always talk to me. I will give out the details, but I'm not ending my talk here. Don't worry, all right? Cool. So the fourth point being that is, people are the biggest weak link, right? We saw that when we did the exercise between Janvi and me, when we are having a conversation, we saw that, okay, people are the weakest links, and the security guards, all this, or the managers on your Stack Overflow or LinkedIn, wherever these people are asking questions, they are almost revealing what they are working on in their company. If you connect a Stack Overflow and a LinkedIn, you will understand what this person is really working on. And then you get to know, oh, this person is speaking about the firewall. This person is speaking about JavaScript framework. This person is speaking about PHP. If I go to LinkedIn, everyone likes to show off their skills, right? So on LinkedIn, okay, you will list all your skill set there. And I get to know, this person really loves JavaScript or PHP or Python. So what I will do is, I will go like a student. Let's say Janvi is a Python developer or the Java developer. I go to Janvi, I write an email to Janvi, and it's not a big deal to find Janvi's email address, all right? So I will write to Janvi, and say that, Janvi, can you please help me with a PHP bug that I'm encountering again and again? And Janvi loves to help. Who doesn't love to help, right? Because they are putting themselves on top. And here, there's a lot of ego, right? So people usually have this ego that I know everything. This is just like IKEA, not IKEA, not the IKEA, which is a shopping center, but I know it all. I call that's IKEA, right? So even if you know it all, be kind because you will save a lot of problems, right? For yourself and for the company and everything. So be humble. Be humble because Santosh Tupar doesn't like it because he would love to hack people, right? No, just kidding. So that's the biggest weak links. People are the biggest weak links. And the next point is we think we don't care, but actually we do, right? Maybe after this talk, or after all these talks here on this webinar, you will try to look at the world in a different way altogether. When you're walking on the streets and one comes to you and say, "Sir, what's your name?" And you're like, "Why the hell is he asking my name? Who is he?" Right? Or else you always stand up to give the name, right? Someone tells you, "Oh, please sit," and you think, "Okay, such a kind person." But probably that's Santosh Tupad, right? Someone, okay, who is trying to hack you. And the last point, what I'm going to speak about is we don't learn. How many of us spend like 1 hour or 2 hours every day on some subject? It could be hacking, it could be on learning about the criminal mindset, it could be watching the video on aviation industry, how they do the scanning and all these things, because hacking can be learned even from those videos, not necessarily reading only the certification book. Certification, I mean, I don't have a certification because I'm the walking person who keeps walking and looking into what do I know and reading about it and coaching other people and helping them understand how to build the trust and how to break it as well. And I think that, okay, you don't know about when I started hacking from. That was when I was 16. I fell in love with computers when I was 12. And that was a disk operating system with a monochrome displays and not your Prince of Persia with the high definition games here, but Prince of Persia in a black and white. I still like that sound of Prince of Persia when I was 12, the sword and all those things. But so that's where I started. And when I was 16, I got into security testing or hacking uh, when I was 16. But I got to know, before that, I got to know there was something beautiful called as internet. And I went to internet along with my friends because they said, okay, there's something called as porn websites, right? So I felt like, what is this? What is this thing? I did not even know what does that mean or anything. And people used to go, and that was that phase where people used to go, okay, it was a new thing and all happening. And people were going and playing the NFS, Need for Speed, which was a multiplayer games. I was actually fascinated by this whole internet because I could chat to someone, be it in Europe or be it America or Korea or Pakistan, who used to run the internet partners. And these guys were really skilled. Where I learned from all of these folks how to hack. But now I'm their guru, right? So they stopped it there because they were script kiddies. They felt like, okay, I use one thing and I keep doing only one thing. But I said, okay, this is fascinating because it was not their passion, but maybe to each some people saying, okay, I will hack your Yahoo Messenger. We don't use that nowadays, but Yahoo Messenger was quite famous long time back, where people in internet parlors, they used to tick on remembered password, check mark, because they felt, okay, it's very easy, it's good, right? Because it helps us. I need not type in my password again when I use the same computer. But they did not know that this evil child, Santosh Tupad, is going to use the same computer and use unmasking softwares. So all I did was, okay, take the key, drag it to the password field because it was already saved there. And then it tells me, hey, Santosh, look, okay, these are the characters. I did the unmasking for you. That was the hack. the first hack which I did when I was 16 was hack the dial-up internet connection credentials, the jittery sound. You remember that? Okay, for people who use the telephone lines, the krr, krr sound. If you know that, that's a sweet music to my ears. Even now, the 56 kbps modem, when it used to make that sound, so that's where I hacked these connections, which was subscription, like Net for India, BSNL, like monthly subscription we used to get, just like your prepaid connection monthly, how much of data you can use. Whenever these people used to close their shop, I used to open my shop from 12 o'clock in the midnight using their credentials. The reason being that is because there cannot be two connections at the same time. So from my house, I used to look at the shop. They used to close the shutter, and then I used to connect using their credentials from my home using the telephone line. That's correct, right? So I was using their subscription and not mine. And any crime that I do, it's on them, not on me, because it's their username and password. Because we did not have all that sophisticated investigation long time back, where you could identify based on where is the connection coming from and which computer are they tracking different machine address, or which is the physical address for every machine. But that can also be spoofed nowadays. You can change it. So anything that has been built, okay, you can change it. Simple. That's the summary of what I want to say here. And we don't like learning, and we don't make our work personal. Everyone, that's where I started this point from, because we don't do it for our own integrity. That's why we say, you know what, we are not happy people. Why we are not happy? You know the answer. So I cannot speak on behalf of you, but you know the answer. Why is something keeping me away from what I want to do in this life? And I'm not saying, okay, you need to become an entrepreneur, or you need to do this much, or you need to increase your paycheck. Because if you listen to my paycheck, how much I take, you will be like, what, really? I mean, it's not on the upper scale. I'm talking about here, okay? You don't take much or anything like that. So that's what the outside world thinks about me. But all I have invested is on my learning, on my happiness, rather than saving something. All I save is in the brain and my life. What I want to do, how I want to do, how I want to be. I don't have much dreams. Maybe you're trusting me. So please be aware you are speaking to me, right? Cool. And also, now those are the bigger problems. And one of the experience, Janvi, how much time do I have?
We can go on for some time.
All right, okay, I love this answer. The reason being that is I love talking, because if you sit with me, I keep talking about some subject, okay, until evening. So, but I won't speak more, I guess. So one of the things here is, let's say I want to hack Janvi's Facebook account or bank account. No, I'm not, there are no questions here, but I'm trying to create a story, all right? So what I will do is, I will install a extension, a JavaScript extension, which is in our Chrome extension or a Mozilla Firefox plugin, right? Okay, wherever you go and you install that and it sits on the top of your browser, right? So extensions or plugins, the browser plugins or extensions are used to ease your lifestyle, right? And when it's about easing something, you always love it. That's how we got, right? If you see washing machine, we got dishwasher, we got mobile phone, we got some Alexa, we got Echo, all these devices, because they always, we think they're reducing our problems. Of course, they do reduce our problems, but I leave it to you. Maybe you already understood. They don't. Or they do. I leave the question open to you people, because I want you to investigate. I want you to learn. I want you to watch all the videos, because I don't want to give all the answers here. And we were on the extensions. So what I will do is I will somehow identify what Janvi really likes. It could be Myntra. It could be going to Amazon shopping, because John will love sharing this conversation with other folks. You know what? I got this for the cheapest price, which is less than 100 rupees from that shop, because we like to say, because we'd like to tell other people that how good we are feeling and how much wise I am up in my brain, right? But actually, what happens is we should trust that there are no Santosh Supas around you. Now, what can happen with that information is I will write to you, Janvi. Let's say, okay, I'm your friend. I think I'm very sure that, okay, we have become friends now, all right? So what I will
100%.
do is, I will write to you saying, hey, Janvi, if you use this plugin, okay, extension, which is the attachment, if you install in your Chrome, Google Chrome or Mozilla Firefox browser, and you browse, okay, whatever website, Amazon website, it triggers a pop-up saying, hey, Janvi, look, here is the coupon code. Okay, we have got a discount, all right, for you. But what this extension really does is what I'm going to reveal now. This extension, I'll say, hey, John, we love shopping. I just thought, okay, of sharing the same extension with you. And you say, oh, thanks, Santosh, I'll install it. Once you install it, it says, you will get the coupon from Amazon very soon. Please wait. And while we are working on this case, but actually we are working on your credentials and everything. We are hacking your browser, right? We are not working on Amazon, but your whole browser hacking. So once you install it, what I'm going to do is, whatever keystrokes you press, be it Amazon, you're thinking it's Amazon plugin. No, it's not. What I'm doing is I'm tracking all the keystrokes on your keyboard, and they are being sent to me. It could be your bank account, it could be your Flipkart, it could be your Amazon, it could be anything. It could be your chat on Facebook Messenger. All your keys are sent to me, and because that's the evil JavaScript which is embedded into the extension. So we have heard about desktop keyloggers, but the web-based keyloggers, they are everywhere. You can also do different keyloggers in terms of, there are hardware keyloggers. Janvi, don't worry. If you want to hack someone, okay, I'll give that keylogger to you. So what you can do is, let's say there's a computer, the CPU cabinet, and there is a keyboard. This is the keyboard. This is your CPU. What you do is you take this USB, connect it to this, and connect it to the keyboard, right? Once you connect, in between that, you have this little dongle, which is a keylogger, hardware keylogger. You connect both of them with the connections, just like tapping a phone. Whatever that person is tapping, it's being recorded in that USB. So you take that USB after 1 week and go to your home and inject it, and it will tell you what this person was browsing, which website, and what are the keys this person was typing. That's the hardware keylogger. And then we can keep going about speaking about these problems. And what I would encourage people to do is go to OWASP, which is Open Web Application Security Project, OWASP.org. Just to say it, okay, what do you say? Making myself look famous. I'm a OWASP cheat sheet contributor as well, where I contribute to the OWASP community, which is 5013C non-profitable. It's a charity-based organization. So you can contribute there as well. You can look into all the cheat sheets. You can look into all different documentation there, and also ASVS standard for web applications and mobile apps as well. I guess if you are having the APIs in your application, they are the brain or heart or the kidneys or anything which is important to you for the application. So make sure you do your APIs really well. And security is just not about the APIs. Security is not just about social engineering. Security is just not about extensions. Security has many, many, many zillions of doors and windows. And for that, you need to have a great team who listens, not putting their ego hat and saying, you know what, I'm right. You have to keep listening to your subordinates as well, because everyone has got a great idea which can add value to your company. And I stop my webinar here, and I look forward to questions.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Santosh. It was phenomenal one, I must say. And there are a few questions for you, which are like, can you identify the vulnerable? Sorry. Can you identify?
Yeah.
Yes. Can you identify the vulnerabilities and strengthen the existing security infrastructure?
Right. So, okay, let's assume that okay we have 5 doors, right, for a building, and these 5 doors, some manager comes or some security researchers go there and they focus on OWASP top 10 attacks because that's not security. They're good SQL injection, cross-site scripting, or cross-site request forgery, unvalidated redirection for forwards, and different kinds of attacks. What they do is they do OWASP top 10 and they put it in their report, and nicely done, okay, using the tools like Burp Suite, or which is an interceptor, and all this, and they send to the managers or the company. The company says, oh, we are good, because the stakeholders or the owners do not know anything about security, because they are trusting you. They are giving their headache to you because you are skilled in being a painkiller, right? So, but instead, what you do is you identify those things which you know, right? Because you cannot always look into everything, the horizons. So that's why you have a diversification in your team. Someone knows this, someone knows this, someone can speak like this. And this, I have seen in the organizations that people keep bullying others for how much they know or how much they don't know. Understand that if we go down, we all go down. The whole globe, the whole planet. It's not specific country or anything, because I'm not a country person now. So what I mean by that is a specific country or anything. I consider the whole planet as one, and people being there for people and being happy. And if you do identify certain vulnerabilities in the software, that doesn't mean it's totally secure. That's the main point. And you have to keep working around the clock. It's not a one-time activity. And you can find maybe 5 attacks, you can find maybe 5 security bugs in the application and send it to the report, but doesn't mean that someone is not able to hack you. Unless you increase your confidence level in your software by testing it every day, every moment, and thinking on it, what's being left? What's my test coverage? What's my security test coverage? Did I cover this? Did I cover the inputs? Did I cover the social engineering part? Let's say a person who is standing behind me, that's shoulder surfing, right? I'm surfing the application, but someone is surfing over my shoulders. And that's why you say, hey, look, okay, can you please go away so that I can type my password? And also people think that it's only about shoulder surfing. No, you got those pinhole cameras in your you put them here, the cameras, and you focus on that person, even if that person is sitting across you, who is like 3 feet far or something. Watch their arms, right? Even when someone presses the pin number, which is personal identification number, focus on the first keyword, personal, all right? So which means it's only for you. And when they press these physical keys in the ATM, you can still identify, if you divide half of the screen, I mean, half of the keypad, watch out on these muscles. Okay, this is working on what kind of muscle is working when you use which finger, and then you press there, and you can identify the pin number really well. And most of them keep the pin numbers really close to other passwords. So that, I think that was your question, right? Even if you
Yes, yes,
report
yes.
the security bug, but it doesn't mean it's completely secure. To an extent, it's secure, but you need to really work on it again and again, continuously. And human skills and human language is very important here. I would like to quote Judy Rees, JUDYREES. Judy Rees works on clean language. Clean language. If you search on Amazon, Judy Rees, yeah.
Okay. Thank
And
you,
also
San.
Olaf from Germany. The book name is Showing Up, how you show up and how you speak to the other client. Okay, I'm done. Okay, or else I don't want the stones to be thrown at me. Cool. Yeah. Any other question?
There is one more question. That is, how are there? Do you know any approaches of malicious cyber crime? Like,
Malicious cybercrime.
yes, malicious.
All
Like,
right,
does
malicious.
your
All right. So experiences with these things, some are there, but they're very personal to me, which I wouldn't like to reveal
It's
on this
okay. It's
video.
okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
But
We
I would like to
understand.
reveal something else. I can master details, no worries. Malicious cybercrime, everything is malicious, is what I think nowadays. Even someone going in a bank, we all have this nature. Now, that would be based on the culture, based on how much priority we have for something else. And if we are in the bank, we will say, sir, please, can you please allow me? I will go in the front, right? So that's a metaphor. It's an example. So you keep going, and people, you don't know with whom you are speaking, right? Again, whether you are speaking to Santosh Tupad or someone else. Because if someone is seeking help from me, I would ask them details. Ah, that's really nice. Oh, of course, I will let you go one step ahead. I will go behind. So we are in the queue, right? So what happens there is I start getting all the details from this person saying, oh, where do you work? Okay, how many kids do you have? How do you feel? And that person starts giving out everything because I have already helped this person to move forward in the queue. So that's the crime. I think the crime starts, I cannot really focus on one example. The crime is happening around you always. It's just that how much you can see is what matters. Malicious could be anything. For instance, no names again, but there are still softwares. If you are a hacker, if you are an evil hacker, you need not pay for your clothes. You need not pay for your for the shelter, which is your rented place, and food, because you can always order a food of 1,000 rupees and pay maybe 10 rupees. Depends on how much you have and how much kind you are, how much you want to pay to the company, right?
Yeah.
So even if it's 1,000, you can pay 1 rupee as well. You can masquerade. There are certain types of bugs. Even you buy from Mintra for 100 rupees, you can pay 10 rupees. No coupons. This is not coupons. What I'm speaking about is the backdoor in the APIs. Mostly they are APIs which are loosely developed and implemented. Yeah. So
Thank
it's
you.
everywhere. It's here. Yeah.
Thank you, Santosh. The last thing that I wanted to ask you, do I need to change my Facebook password?
Please do.
Thank you.
No, why I'm telling you is because I already know it, and many people on the webinar know about your topology. So first thing what we need to do is, okay, change it, and don't tell them how you are going to change, please. Don't,
Yes,
no
yes.
matter how great password it is, don't tell.
Sure.
Don't tell anyone. And
Yeah,
people
yeah.
usually, yeah, people usually
Thank
have the passwords like,
you.
cheers, no worries.
Thank you. It was nice to have you. And yeah,
Cool.
I did learn a lot of things from you, and I'll try to secure my credentials
Don't worry,
from
you just
now.
need to talk to me. I will tell you the strong password.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. It was nice to have
Cool.
you on the
Great.
platform of our webinar. Thank you, Santosh.
Great, great. Thank you, Janvi. Thank you, Danush. Thank you, Niranjan. Thank you, Darshan. Thank you, audience. Thank you, all the speakers. Great. Cheers.
Okay. With these, I would like to move on with our next speaker, who is Anshuman Das, who is a security researcher and speaker, an ethical hacker, web application penetration tester, an exploit dev, a red team aspirant, and a CTF player, presenting on the topic of why everyone should learn ethical hacking.
Thank you, Janvi, for introducing me, and thank you, Planotech Media House, for giving me this opportunity. So, today I will talk about why everyone should learn ethical hacking. Before coming to that question, I think everyone knows that fact. Everyone in this world are using somewhere or somewhat is using mobile phone or laptop or using the internet services mainly, and whether it's for online education, whether it's for online shopping, or whether it's for entertainment purpose. By doing so, they're revealing their data knowingly or unknowingly into the web. Now, The question is, what are those information? Those information may be your credentials, your bank details, your photos, your videos, your confidential documents. And there are certain bad guys who are taking advantages of weaknesses of any system and breaking through it without your permission, are taking those credentials, bank details, or your data. Those are known as hackers, and the process is known as hacking. Now, what is the solution for that? The solution is known as, like, the process which prevents those hackers or prevents those hackers from hacking or stealing information. Those group of people are known as ethical hacker. Ethical hacking is nothing but hacking into your system with your permission to secure you. Here's the point: to secure you, the ethical hackers only hacking into their system, into your system. Why so? If ethical hacker knows the weaknesses beforehand, before the bad guys knows it, before the bad guys knows it, then what will be the advantage of that? Then the developer of that software or the system can patch those weakness so that no hacker can access into it, no hacker can exploit it. Now let's see the hacking. First, to understand the hacking, we need to understand how system works. System mainly implies your electronic devices which are connected to internet, which may be laptop, mobile phone, smartwatches, your smart TV, anything that is connected to internet. Every system follows certain set of protocols or rules. These rules or protocols help one to connect one device to another, and those protocols are designed by human brains. Now, it's important point to understand it here. Hacking is nothing but fooling human brains. So, and in research, there one journal where I have read it. This is 80% of attacks are done on the client side. So it is very easy to fool clients, fool the users who are using that internet. If you don't know about the attacks, if you don't know about anything what's happening background in the background, so it is obvious that anyone can fool you and steal your data information while surfing on the internet. It is very easy. So what should be the solution for that? If you are using internet, that's not a problem. Even today's world, internet is the most powerful thing we have ever had. It's not easy to stop using internet, or you, if you want a solution, no, I will not use internet, then I'll not being hacked. It's not, that's not a point here. If you have to use that. Now using Having said you have to use internet, then what should be the solution for that? The solution will be like, if you should know the attacks properly, like the general or common attacks which the hackers or crackers use to fool people. If you know beforehand how they are doing that, or you know the basics, or you know the ethical hacking part, how they are doing so, then nobody gonna attack you because you already know that thing. If you already know that, hacker will think twice before hack you. And the main thing is, you are surfing on the internet, right? Not me, not any ethical hacker on behalf of you are just using it. You are the one who is using it. If you can't protect yourself, if you can't protect yourself by knowing those attacks, so it is only you are the superhero. You will be the superhero to protect yourself from being a victim. So on that note, I will share one of my experience. 2 years back, when I was like working with my laptop in hostel rooms, and I suddenly got a pop-up message stating authentication required to stay connected with your Wi-Fi router. Because I usually use my own Wi-Fi router while connecting to internet. So, and the name was Hacker Access. So I thought that time, yes, someone is trying to troll me. Yes, actually it was doing so. Means that attack I knew beforehand. So I got the pop-up message, and I don't have do anything. Just I need to put the password and click submit. If so, it's a kind of attack, and the one tool is available. It's Wi-Fi Fisher. Attacker, the script kiddies generally use this attack to steal anyone's Wi-Fi credentials. So I knew that attack beforehand. So I could have canceled that button that time, but I was in the mood of trolling him, so I like put that password as better luck next time and submit it. That was not the password though. So yes, what my point here is, if you know any attacks beforehand, or you know how what is happening with your system, you can identify the attack, then you will not be the victim, and attacker will think twice thrice before attacking you, because he know his success rate is zero here. That's my point, and that's what I feel, that's what I believe. If anyone knows ethical hacking part or attacks which are commonly used to fool people, then everyone is secure out there in the internet. And yes, I would like to add on more thing here. What we are going through these days, the pandemic situation and the COVID-19 and the social engineering attacks, which sir has told before, Santosh sir and Ritesh sir has told before, like social engineering attacks are the match made in hell. Every day I am getting spam mails, spoof mails from various organizations stating I have earned this amount of money. To do so, to get those amount of money in my bank account, please fill the details. This is a kind of social engineering. And these days, social engineering attacks, one social engineering attack is phishing attack, which is getting powerful and more powerful. if you don't know about those legitimate websites, and you maybe get fooled easily by those phishing attacks, because the attackers are becoming so creative, so you can't differentiate between one legitimate site and one phishing website. Without knowing, you are just putting your credentials on the phishing website, then you are gone. You lose your credentials that time. And hacker are just the ones who are just doing these days very, very often. Because whether it's for any shopping website or any mail that attracts the youth or those people who don't know about phishing, and yes, and they randomly send 100 to 100 users. Among them, 15 are those who don't know about anything, and with the greediness, like in greediness, they are just clicking those things and just losing their bank account details, and obviously losing the money which they have in the bank account details. So I would like to end this talk before uh, I would like to just suggest one thing here. Think before you click anything. Think before you click anything. And thank you. That's my time. Thank you for being a great audience. Thank you very much.
Next speaker, who is Gautam Krishnan, an ethical hacker, a cybersecurity evangelist, a privacy evangelist. Moreover, he is being branded by Microsoft. Welcome, Gautam Krishnan. Over to
Thank you
you.
so much, Janvi. So, first of all, let me just make ourselves very clear. We're not as evil as people make us seem. And Mr. Santosh, that was a great speech. But let me again remind you, we guys are not evil.
yeah.
So, yes, guys. So, today I'll be speaking on the topic privacy. And almost Mr. Santosh has summed up everything I wanted to say on social engineering. And I would like to again enforce that one of the main aspects of the cyber chain is the human aspect, right? So everybody thinks, and generally we get a lot of messages, please hack my girlfriend's Facebook account, please hack this Facebook account, that Facebook account, Instagram account, etc. and etc. But guys, that doesn't happen, right? So humans are a very essential aspect of cyber chain. And before we just move into the topic, let's just see some hands on how many of you guys use Instagram and Facebook. Can you guys raise your hands? Great. Okay, I'm used to see only a few people use and others don't. Anyway, that's good on you. And how many of you guys have done the recent dares which come up on Instagram? Okay, we see more hands. Great. And guys, how many of you can think that you guys are secure over the internet? How many of you guys think that? Okay, so Yashwant thinks he's secure over the internet. Good for you, Yashwant. Let's just unveil what happens over the internet and why is privacy a very important issue. So before we get into why privacy is a very important issue, let's get into what privacy is. And I go to talk to students over colleges, and one of the most common conversations which when I make with them, they say, I have nothing to hide. Why should I worry about privacy? And that is the most absurd argument you can ever make. And every time this happens, the only one thing I do is I write my email ID in a paper and give it to them and just ask to email their password when I get back home. And I bet you, I've been doing this for the past 4 years and I have not yet got a single email, and I check my mail every day. So why is privacy so important? Privacy is not, hiding something from people. Privacy is owning your thing. Privacy is like showing people what they ought to show. Privacy is thing. It is not something you hide. It is what you choose to show. It is a normal human behavior that you are very succumb and cautious when somebody is watching you. That is not the thing. You gain control over your digital life. You only give out the details that you ought to give out. As my previous speakers already talked about that, there is a digital footprint which you leave behind. And again, I'm not making it dangerous. That's not dangerous. That's what everyone does. We use Instagram, we use Facebook. I'm sure everybody of you must be aware of the Cambridge Analytica hack which happened a few years ago. Did you know that every user over Facebook and Instagram has an average of 5,000 data points? Exactly, guys. You, each and every one of you, have 5,000 data points. And during the first speaker, if I remember properly, someone asked that how do the hackers find us? How do the hackers, target us? So just getting into this briefly, every speaker has every person has around 5,000 data points on them, and these people are divided into two categories: the persuadables and the non-persuadables. And people generally reach out to the persuadables, right? So what is your digital footprint? Each and everything that you do on the internet gets logged. Everything is visible to people. You are not anonymous. And if everybody has certain details about you, as Mr. Santosh said, it is very, very easy to impersonate you on the internet. Just for example, take that if you guys have never seen me, you guys don't know me. What if someone else with my name and my credentials gets into this webinar and claims to be Gautam? Right? That is very well possible. But what if that happens? Nobody of you can figure out if this is the real Gautam or thing. Same example. If I have enough details about you guys, I can impersonate you very easily. So let me just pull out somebody here and let me just ask, how many of you guys use private Wi-Fi networks? You go to a railway station. I'm pretty sure every railway station has a Wi-Fi network today. How many of you guys use Wi-Fi from outside? Nobody? Oh, wow, that's great. We have a very pretty, okay, Planotech events use this. I guess that's Zanush. Okay, then. Tejas uses, okay. Okay, so we have a pretty secure audience here. Whenever you use a private Wi-Fi network, you tend to give out data. You are on an unsecure network and people have the power to monitor you when you are on an unsecure social network. And it is everything is about social engineering, as Mr. Santosh said. Everything is social engineering. As he mentioned, I can be your friend. I know who you are. I know your pain points. I know your details. I can get close to you and I can manifest that information in probably 6 to 7 months from now. I can use that information. And each and every one of you, remember guys, who did that there, Instagram and Facebook dares, your data is used. You guys have must heard this saying that data is the new oil, right? When people say data is the new oil, and when our first speaker talked about deep fakes and fake news, where does those things come from? It's all this is the process called GAN, generational adversarial network, GAN. You give out your data using the hashtag which everybody can see. This is the simplest way of data collection, where people give out the data and people are almost okay with giving out the data. They don't feel like we have almost reached a point where people have accepted the fact that we have to give out the data in order to use this platform or something. It is not that. You can gain your digital life back. You can minimize the data points which you give out by using just simple tricks. You can use extension on browsers to block trackers and cookies. You can increase the length of your password, as I probably am sure Janvi is going to do after this webinar. You can change the permissions for your applications. Why do you guys have to give a gallery application, your contacts application, to probably anything that does not matter? There is a game which you're downloading and you're giving it your contact application, your contact permission, your camera permission, your microphone permissions. Why? You don't have to do that. Everything is data collection. You need to be suspicious over everything. As it said, ideal mind is a devil workshop. Everybody is ideal now. Corona, I guess everybody is safe at home and everybody is pretty ideal now, and they don't have a single idea on what to and how to pass their times. And everybody is just trying out new ideas. In the past 1 month alone, I got around 250 email IDs asking me to click their link and give out my personal details. I'm pretty sure many of you have got too. But you have to be suspicious on each and every link you click, each and everywhere you log in, each and every place you give out your details. And you have to be pretty secure if Mr. Santosh Topad is there. Sorry, sir. And yes, so you have to use two-factor authentication is a pretty secure thing. If you are out there on the internet, anybody can mask anyone. You think you guys are secure over the internet, but you have no idea how things are going out, how things are going to unveil. And as sir said, हर एक friend तो जरूरी पक्का होता है, लेकिन ये नहीं पता कि कौन सच्चा होता है. So have your chosen list, be secure over the internet, and how to prevent it. One of the common things we see every day is everybody uses the same email ID password for all the accounts. You might have the same email ID and password for Facebook, Instagram, your the college, and the company you're applying for. You leave a digital footprint on whatever you do. Use fake email IDs, use bogus email IDs, or rather spam email IDs for the places which you just want to serve. For example, gaming networks, anything, just use an email ID that is not very relevant and use a professional email ID to keep your digital tracks clean. Share as much as minimum information as possible. That will be the best thing. You don't have to give out your photos and details, and you don't have to post every time you're sad, guys. As you know, millennials and as this generation, we ought to do that a lot. You have a breakup, you post it on Instagram. You have a fight with your friend, you post it on Instagram. Everything, you don't have to do it, right? So privacy is just getting back your right. It's just like you don't want to have your conversations with your girlfriend in front of everyone, right? That is as pretty much as privacy. You want to have your things personal. I'm sure every one of you must have posted, you only get to see what I get to show you, right? There is this very famous quote on social media which is going viral. You only get to know us as much as I'm willing to show you. It is pretty much the same with privacy. Get back your private right. So the more personal information you give out, it's more easier to impersonate you, and not a genius is required to impersonate you over the internet. I can be anyone I want, and so can you. So in general, there are two types of organizations in all over the world. Ones who have been hacked and ones who are pretty not sure of, not yet have figured out that they're hacked, but everything is hackable. And one of the most important aspects of cybersecurity is the human chain. You guys are very important. It does not happen in a second or with a click. No, it requires social engineering. It requires privilege escalation. It requires you getting into the application so that you can exploit the system. And how does that happen? With a click of a malicious link, with downloading malicious applications. And you have to be secure over that part. So I'm sure I'm not going to, pull it too long. I'm going to keep it short. But after Snowden's leaks, there have been a great deal of, privacy things which have gone to the GDPR law, etc. and etc. There have been a lot of things to get back your privacy. It is just as much as information as you give out, the people tend to know. When you're born in this world, nobody knows about you. And when you tend to grow up, you create an image for yourself, which is shown out. The same is the thing with internet. When you step into the internet the first time, there is no information about you. It is you who choose to give out whatever the information that is needed for the people out there to know about you. So guys, I'll go for questions here, if any.
Yes, it was a nice lesson, and definitely I need my passwords and everything after this session.
Okay, you'll do.
Okay, so the first question for you is, how do we protect ourselves from this, like hacking and everything, if at all we can?
Yes, we definitely can. It is a bit absurd to say that we can protect ourselves, but we can definitely minimize the amount we get hacked by giving out proper information. I do not have to give out my name, age, email ID, phone number, etc. and etc. details on all social media platforms. I know pretty well to and people call stalking. Even if I stalk, I have to stalk with a bogus email ID and a bogus account. but we are investigators. We are cyber investigators. We are not stalkers, right? So give out as much less information as possible in order to gain back your privacy and stay secure over the internet. Yes, you definitely can stay secure over the internet by giving out the least amount of information you ought to give.
Okay, so there is a next question for you. That this is ongoing era, and there is a high demand for ethical hackers nowadays. So, what's your opinion for that? Is it necessary?
Yes, definitely. Security is one of the prominent parts of anything. We are moving towards a digital era where everything is going to be digitalized. Your Google payments are digitalized. Your nowadays even your colleges are digitalized. Everything is over the Zoom meeting. You need security people to be there. And as much as you guys get educated into security, it is good for you and your society around you. Yes, getting into security is not easy. It can be challenging in many ways. But once you start enjoying it, security is a beautiful line to be in.
Okay. Next question there is, what is a major programming? Like, what is the programming language that is necessary for ethical hacking?
No, when you get into ethical hacking, I would, tend you guys to be pragmatic rather than being imaginative. Think logically. When you come to ethical hacking, it's about how you approach the person. It's not what language you use to exploit the person. You can definitely start by being a script kiddie, but when you move further in your career, you have to know to develop scripts. And it is, your choice of programming language which you choose to, go. There is no specification on you need to know this, you need to know this. It's totally your choice.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you
for
so much.
your phenomenal lesson, and we did learn, definitely, especially me. I need to work upon myself for sure.
And everybody have to take you as an example and work upon their passwords too.
yes, definitely. Okay,
Thank you so
thank
much.
you.
Guys. Good luck and stay safe.
Yes, thank you.
Just stopping you for a moment. Someone has asked whether there is any free online course for cybersecurity over the questions. And let me guys tell you that I have not paid a penny as of now for whatever I've learned. Everything has been totally on your own interest. Everything is available over the internet. Google is there, which definitely sucks out your privacy, but it's pretty helpful in learning, So there are n number of YouTube channels, there are n number of courses over the internet where you can learn basic ethical hacking, and it is depending on your interest where you go forward in your career. Good luck.